Do you have projects around your house that need to be organized, cleaned up, um, just fixed so that maybe a dream that you have could come true later? Well, look behind me. This is my project for today. Here I've got ladders that I have nowhere else to put them, so they have to stand up back here. This very tall extension ladder I would love to put on the side of the shop. We'll check on that. We have this there's two step ladders there. This is as you see, was a shed that hung over the top of there. It was attached to that piece of wood. There's a concrete pad underneath, and the previous owner, I think he used it to put an air tank on because he had air tools inside the shop. There's a little pipe that comes out, so I think that's what he used there. Well, the shed, as you see, has rotted and fallen down. So I need to clean that up, which it's got shingles on it. I'll show you in just a minute. The underneath side, it's just a piece of plywood. Some of the wood I think that I could save and utilize for other little projects. We have a walkboard back here that's just in the weather that needs to be put up. So my idea is to clean all of this up and put it all away because my idea, I'll get over here. Oh, let me show you this too. To this side, there are two old wheelbarrows. The one to the yellow looking one, I loved it. It was a plastic bottom with two nice handles, and it was easy for me to use. One summer, I was rebuilding the rock wall around the pond, and I dropped a rock in the bottom too hard and it cracked it. So it has duct tape on it, but it still doesn't do too well. But my daughter and son-in-law gave me a new one for Christmas. So this one is an old rusty metal one, and I'm going to make this a project and I'll show it another day, but I think between the two, there's enough parts that I can make another good wheelbarrow out of. So that's something we'll work on, but let's get working because there's a good bit of work to do. It shouldn't be overwhelming, but a lot of this stuff, I have an old shed out back. Let me just turn you around and I'll show you. It's the one right there on the other side of the garden that I would like to put a lot of this extra stuff in. So let's get started. I don't even know what to do first. So, I think I need tools. The project did begin with taking the shingles off of the old rooftop. Was trying to be very careful also to not let the nails fall on the ground. So I put all of the shingles in a big black trash bag and then got a hammer to take the little roofing nails off of the underlayment that was under the shingles. And then here is the finished product after we pulled it all apart. I was able to salvage a few boards. That was kind of nice. But most of them were rotten. Now it's time to start loading up the other things to just put them in a better place out of the weather. My little rhino is my legs and everything when it comes to doing work around Grandma's home place. And then I pulled out these cylinder plastic, actually heavy plastic tubes. I don't even know what they're used for, but we put them in a different spot as well. I say we, that's me, myself, and I. And then this walkboard is a neat little thing. It has casters on the bottom. Now it's time to move the wheelbarrows. This is the metal one, and I've just taken them and pushing them to the other side of the shop, and I turn them upside down because that'll be a project one day. And here we are bringing the first little load out to the shed just to get it out of the weather, and it'll preserve it a little longer. Probably I'll never use these things, but we have orange cones and a big plastic tube for something. And then it was time. I decided I would relocate the concrete blocks that I have. And so I decided to move them also by one of the sheds. And then I had this great idea to reuse the shingles. I like for the blocks to stay clean as possible, so I just laid them out this is by the rock pile, and of course weeds have grown up around them, but I laid shingles on the ground and then just stacked my blocks on top of the shingles so they won't be in the mud. And then I started studying and decided if I turn the holes up instead of to the side, maybe I could deter snakes or creatures from getting inside the blocks. I had 12 in all. And then I took more shingles and put on the top and laid the blocks on them. And then it was time to remove whatever else was at the base of the shop. And it turned out there were 2 pieces of aluminum gutter. I just pulled them out of the way. And then there was this two pieces of vinyl, looks like soffit material. And I don't even have vinyl on my house, so I don't know where that came from. But there's the other aluminum gutter. And I did use a hoe to pull these out because I was afraid there could be snakes behind there, because snakes do live under this shop. And next I got my blower out so I could blow off at least the concrete pad, because that's where I'm planning to put the ladders. I took the hoe to try to remove where I had previously pulled down some Virginia creeper, which is the other green vine that you see going up the back of the shop. And then carefully, it was time to start moving ladders around, but first I wanted to get that extra board down that the roof shed was on. And here we go, up to the top. First, I had to hammer this piece of board that was between the siding boards on the shop. It was coming loose, so I nailed it back in. And then I worked on pulling the other board away, and there it goes. And now it's time to situate the ladders. The red one is a lot heavier, but it's a step ladder. So I just, again, stacked the 2 on top of each other, putting the lighter one on the top, because if I needed to use it, it's easier for me to handle. And then I had to deal with the extension ladder, and you can't even see the top of it in the video because it's so tall, very top heavy. Was heavy for me to try to handle, so I tried to walk it across. And then I decided if I propped it on the shop, maybe I could walk it across that way. I needed to get it up on this little concrete pad, which was several inches high, but I struggled to pick it up on there. Finally, after a little work, it's all up there. The next project was to take the hoe and remove all the Virginia creeper vine that was growing up the back side of the shop, because it would continue to grow and take over if I didn't remove it. And finally, the last little bit of cleanup was just to blow the leaves and debris away for a clean, finished completed project. Mission accomplished. I got it all cleaned up, both sides, all clean, all the junk dealt with. I was able to tear up the roof shed and pull out all the nails because I didn't want to just throw them on my burn pile, so that took a little extra time. As you see, I did not rehang the water hoses, and that's just a storage place for water hoses for now. I'll do that another day because it's just so hot. The ladders, I guess you saw the struggle I had on one of them. The ladders have no other place right now. They're very tall, very heavy for me to try to handle, and they're on this concrete pad that was there, and that keeps them out of the dirt and will keep them cleaner. But for now, that's where they're going to stay. So why did I do this project? It's on the back side of the shop. Nobody sees it but me. You know, I'm sure some of you say, why? Well, for me, there's a couple of reasons. I don't like for things to get all messy. And in fact, at one time, several years ago, I had cleaned up back here and straightened up and organized the junk that was there. But over time, with rain and leaves and vines and trees trying to grow up and all that, it just gets to be a mess, and it gets to be a snake hazard. And if you follow me on Facebook, if you see that I do have snakes around, and I don't want to be surprised by them. So getting all of that cleaned up made a big difference. Now, here's the bigger reason that I wanted to do this. I have this dream. I can't do it right now. I have other projects around the house that need attention first. But my dream is across the whole back side of the shop to build, and I can't do it myself either. I'm going to have to hire it out. But to have a lean-to greenhouse. I think that would be awesome. And because I have power in the shop, I could even have plug-ins on the back, on this whole back wall. I don't need that many, but if I needed to run a fan or a heater or anything like that, I could acclimate the temperature inside my little greenhouse. So it's a dream, you know, whether it'll happen or not, I don't know, but I'm going to say yes, it will. I don't know when, but it's exciting to dream and think of things that might make life a little easier, because I'm thinking a greenhouse. I could put my ferns in there in the winter. I could do early planting in, you know, like to start seeds and grow in little pots. I could do that. A lot of uses for a greenhouse. But anyway, that's my project for today. And thank you for coming along with me. It's been a busy time. It took me several hours, but when you have a mission accomplished on your project, that's a good thing. So thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you on the next one. I hope God blesses you abundantly today.